When we first moved here, they were still.
All right. Sorry. Good evening and welcome to the Planning and Zoning meeting for the City of Smyrna. Today's February 11th, 2019. It's 6 p.m. and this meeting's called to order. At this time, we'd like to ask that all electronic devices be turned off as it interferes with our recording equipment. For those of you joining us for the first time, this meeting is conducted much like a council meeting. As such, each application will include a presentation from city staff, followed by a question and answer session between staff and the board. After staff's presentation, we'll have the applicant present their information and answer questions from the board. Once all the questions have been satisfied, we'll have an opportunity for anyone in attendance that would like to come forward and speak in favor of or opposition to the application. We ask that you come forward one at a time, sign your name on the sign-in sheet. We don't need the DNA and other things that it asks for, just your name and address, please. And please direct all your comments to the board. The first item on the agenda is item 2018-34. This is zoning application Z18-015. This item is to be withdrawn at the request of the applicant. Can we get a motion to withdraw this item? We have a motion, Ms. Harrington. Second, Ms. Lightfoot. Please vote. The motion. Motion to withdraw is approved 7-0. The next item on the agenda is item 2019-45. This is zoning application Z19-002. Rezoning from R20 and GC to R15 conditional for 2 single-family homes at a density of 1.89 units per acre. This is 1.09 acres, land lot 349 Greenridge Street. The applicant's Kimberly Norwood Properties. Mr. Martin, the background, please.
This zoning, you guys will hear this request tonight. You'll make a recommendation to mayor and council. They will hear it on March 18th and make a final decision on that date. The property in question is a vacant lot on Greenridge Street on the west side of the street. Since it's a vacant lot, it doesn't have an address number, so I can't give you an exact street number. The property is approximately 1.09 acres, just a little over an acre. They are proposing to rezone the property from R20 in GC to R15 conditional for the development of 2 single-family homes. Basically, in the county, the front half of the property that's along Green Street is zoned R20, and the back half with the dog leg is zoned GC. The 2 lots will equate to approximately 1.89 units per acre, and they're proposing to build 2 single-family homes that are 2 stories and will have front entry garages and access off of Green Street. The future land use map for the city in Cobb County has this property as community activity center. There is no proposed change to remain consistent with our intergovernmental agreement with Cobb County and maintain their land use classification that's closest to their land use classification. The adjoining properties, as you can see to the north, is high density residential on the Cobb future land use map. To the east is low density residential on Cobb's future land use map. To the south is community activity center on Cobb's land use map, and to the west is medium density residential on our future land use map. This is the proposed site plan for the development. As you can see, the homes will face on Greenridge, and they'll have front entry driveways that access a two-car garage on the front side of the home. With this request, they're requesting the following setbacks: a front setback of 25 feet, a side of 7.5, and a rear of 35 feet. They're also proposing a 5-foot right-of-way dedication and a 5-foot sidewalk along Green Ridge. These are the proposed locations of the stormwater detention facilities. And then with this request, there's 4 variances that are riding with this. The first being a lot width reduction from 85 feet down to 69 feet. The next being a front setback reduction from 35 feet to 25 feet. The next being a side setback reduction from 10 feet to 7.5 feet. And the last one being a floor area reduction from 2,000 square feet down to 1,800 square feet. These are the proposed home elevations for the homes. And then this is pictures of the subject property. So the top picture is a picture from Green Ridge Street, and the bottom picture is from Pat Mill Place. These pictures are of the surrounding properties. So the top 2 pictures are the properties on either side of the subject property. The bottom left picture is a picture of Pat Mill Place, and then the bottom right is a picture of the home across Green Ridge. Community Development is recommending approval of the rezoning from general commercial and R20 to R15 conditional for the 2 homes at a density of 1.89 units per acre, with special conditions from section 1201, except for some other conditions that don't apply to this specific development. But the conditions we are applying deal with stormwater management, underground utilities, traffic improvements, the burying of debris, and then tree ordinance and landscaping requirements. On top of the special conditions, on top of the standard conditions, we're adding special conditions. Number 9 deals with the setbacks that they've requested. Number 10 requires a minimum driveway length of 22 feet. 11 is the right-of-way dedication of 5 feet along Green Ridge Street. 12 is the requirement for the 5-foot sidewalk. 13 is a requirement for the composition of the homes to have a mixture of materials and then be limited to no elevation having 100% hardy plank siding on any elevation. And then 14 ties the approval of the zoning to the R15 zoning category to the site plan submitted. And 15 ties the zoning to the building elevation submitted. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Martin? Ms. Harrington?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry. I have a couple of questions. First, on the recommendations, number 12, on the sidewalk. Just wondering, I realize it's a normal stipulation that we put forth, but since this part is being annexed into the city and the rest of the lots around the street or county, why would we still require a sidewalk?
Because there's a sidewalk on Pat Mill, and we're 2 lots away from Pat Mill, and if those 2 lots develop because of this development, then we could have that connection.
Okay, thank you. The second question is, the applicant submitted a new site plan today incorporating that lower south side, that short area. Mm-hmm. Going forward, will this be the final site plan adjustment? Will that lower area remain part of that other lot, that lot?
If you approve this request, you're approving the site plan as submitted. So there'll be two lots. One will be approximately 18 or 19,000 square feet, and the other one will be approximately 26,000 square feet.
All right.
If they plan to materially change those lot designs, they'll have to come back before mayor and council and get approval of that change.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this time, we'd like to ask the applicant to come forward and tell us a little bit about the plan. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening. My name is Sean Murphy, and I'm the representative for the Norwood Group. I live at 3282 Lee Street.
Is your mic on? I can't.
Mic check.
There you
Yeah.
go. Thank you.
I live at 3282 Lee Street, Smyrna, Georgia. Many of you have seen me before and seen these gentlemen here. We first started working together over in Smyrna Heights, which was then a fairly transitional neighborhood, as this neighborhood is today. And I like to think that we were largely responsible for one of the main changes over in Smyrna Heights, the north side of Smyrna Heights, in moving away from as many renters into more owner-occupied homes. And I personally am really happy to be working with these guys. I think they've done a great job to date. And this is one of their first forays into an area kind of on the edges of Smyrna. Up until now, we've really been in Smyrna. And frankly, this particular location is a challenging location because of the properties around it. They're taking a big risk here. So what you see here is their best go at it, and I think we've tried to do a plan that complies with the zoning for the most part. We did ask for a couple of variances. I understand that there's some questions about the setbacks and why we wanted to have variances on the setbacks. If you'll notice, the lot lines are not perpendicular to the street. So if we slide these houses back further, it creates kind of pinch points along the sides with our grading. We can do it. We could slide them back 10 feet or so, but it means we get steeper grades on the side of the house, a little bit more challenging to do, nice aesthetic grading. And then, of course, they're trying to build in a price point that's an affordable home, and every additional foot of concrete driveway adds to their costs. So having those driveways be a little shorter, their landscape, the sod that they have to do. Also, from a stormwater, it means less disturbance to the site if we keep the houses closer to the street. So that's why we went with the 25 and the 7.5 foot side setbacks. Also, with only a 60 to 70 foot wide lot, it is difficult to do the larger side setbacks. Our stormwater, when we submit for permitting, we expect to be able to do traditional B&P surface stormwater design using berms in the back with some kind of outlet control structure. We do not anticipate having to have a substantial detention pond back there. And I don't believe, do you have anything else you guys want to add? That's it. I can answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Murphy? Harrington.
Hello, Mr. Murphy.
Hello.
Just a couple of questions. Thank you first for clarifying the need for the front setback. It was part of our discussion, and I was wondering about that. As far as the detention ponds, who will be maintaining that? There'll be no HOA in this?
Right. One of the things that we like to do is, because no one likes to deal with HOAs, is that each independent owner is responsible for their detention or whatever that facility is. Now, we'll still have an agreement that'll be recorded, so they'll be individually responsible, which means you don't have to have the access easement and all those things that a typical detention pond would require, because you don't have to have a common ownership coming back and dealing with this.
All right. And what is the price point on these?
High twos, low threes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Murphy? I get the front setback, but it appears that there's plenty of room to slide these things side to side. Is there a reason you're requesting the 7.5, like specifically to the site?
Well, again, if you look close, you see we're kind of right on the setback on one side and a little bit off the other, and it allows us to get nice, comfortable slopes that are 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. Can we slide them? Yes, but then we end up with slopes between the edge of the house. Once you account for a little shoulder for some foundation plantings, you end up having kind of a 2 or 3 foot flat, and then you have to drop off at 2 to 1. If we slide those back, it'll just really pinch our grading opportunities there.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. At this time, we'd like to ask if there's anyone in attendance that would like to come forward and speak in favor of or opposition to this application. All right. Let the record reflect there are no public comments. Any further discussion or any questions from the board? Okay. I would like to request a motion. Microphone.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
I'd like to request a motion to approve Z19-002 for rezoning for R20 and GC to R15 conditional for 2 single-family homes, a density of 1.89 units per acre, land lot number 349 on Glen Ridge Street.
We have a motion to approve. Ms. Harrington, do we have a second? We have a second. Ms. Lightfoot, please vote. Your application is approved 7-0, gentlemen. Good luck with your project.
Very much. Thank you.
All right. The next item on the agenda is approval from the approval of the minutes from the January 14, 2019 Planning and Zoning meeting. Are the board members in possession of the minutes? Are there any changes that need to be made at this time? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes? We have a motion, Mr. Rice, a second, Mr. Bai. Please vote. The minutes are approved 7-0, and last month, we had a rather somber meeting. We had the passing of Denny Campo, and we have the resurrection now of Mike Seagraves coming back to the board after being off the board for a couple years. So welcome back, Mike. We appreciate your service. Mr. Sudreth, is there anything you want to add? All right. So we're happy to have Mike back. All right. Any other comments? All right. Well, this meeting is adjourned at 6:17 in the p.m.